Hello, my name is Beverly, and today I will be starting my first set of indoor seed starting. I will be starting with my perennials. For my seed sowing, I break it down into three different parts. And the very first part is my perennials. The second part is my hardy annuals, which I will do along with my cool weather crop. And I will plant these out in my garden in early spring, roughly 4 weeks prior to my last frost date. And by the way, my last frost date is around May the 20th. So after my hardy annuals, I'll then go on to my annuals, and these are the annuals that are not frost hardy. So these will be planted out in my garden about 2 weeks after my last frost date, just to be on the safe side. While for the hardy annuals, those I can plant along with my cool weather crops up to 4 weeks before my last frost. And for my perennials, I start these a little early just to get a head start on the growing season. The reason for that is that perennials, they can take up to 10 to 12 weeks to germinate and get fully established. So for that reason, I need to start them pretty early. All right, and some of the advantages of having perennials in the garden is that you plant once and they keep coming back. You'll have them for years to enjoy. Secondly, plants are getting quite expensive, and if you have a space and have to fill that space with mainly annuals, imagine how much that would cost. So I like to have quite a bit of perennials in my garden, and then I will just get me some annuals that I will just tuck in here and there wherever there are empty spaces. All right, so that's one of the advantages of having perennials in your garden. And so, in other words, you'll save yourself some money. And they also give you a head start on your blooms. For example, like the columbine, those are early spring bloomers. I have some perennial poppies, those are also early bloomers come spring. So you'd say, what are the disadvantages of planting perennials? The disadvantages are that they do take a while to germinate. And as I said earlier, they can take up to 10 to 12 weeks to germinate and get somewhat established. They also need a temperature of about 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit to germinate. Once they have germinate, they need to be exposed to light and have a cool temperature of about 65-degree Fahrenheit for growth. So for my perennials, I will be planting my seeds today. Hoping they will germinate in another 14 days or so. It's a variety, so they will have different germination time. So it may take 10, so maybe 14 days. So once they germinate, I will take them and I will supplement them with grow lights to have them growing. All right, so I will go ahead and I'll do a demonstration with you on how I go about planting my perennial seeds. Okay, so to begin, I start with my seed starting mix, and I use the Miracle Grow seed starting mix, and that's very important. I am not using the regular potting mix, as that would be too much for the delicate seedlings to work its way through. So I'm using my seed starting soil, which is quite soft. I have filled my trays and I make sure that it's compact, get rid of all the air bubbles. And my next step, I will be watering my soil from the bottom. So I will now go ahead and add some water to moisten my soil. going to bring it all the way up. And this is a pretty quick process. I can see the soil is already being moistened. Yeah. So while that is happening, I will go through some of the perennials I'll be planting. One of them is this beautiful hollyhock. I can just imagine this in my garden. This is beautiful, and it's a perennial in my zone. Actually, it's a perennial in zone 2 to 9. So this should be an easy one to grow. And the next one I'll be doing is some blanket flower, some Shastia daisy. I have about 4 or so in my front and back garden. I'll just make me another 2 plants, some Dianthus, oriental grass. I planted some of this last year. Did pretty well, so I'm gonna get myself a few more, and I'll be also doing some poppy. All right, so I have already labeled my different sections for the different seeds just to save on time. So I will go ahead now and yes, my soil seems quite moist. I'll just let that go through a little bit more, and I make sure to just press my soil to get rid of any hair pockets that may be there. So just press it down, and because I want my seeds to have direct contact with the soil. All right. So as you maybe can see, my soil is well moistened. That was a quick process. So I'm now going to go ahead. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll start adding my seeds. So the first one I will be doing my poppy. Actually, I will just transfer it to another, yeah, I'll just transfer it to another tray as I don't want to have my soil a bit too saggy. So I will now go ahead, and the first one I will plant is my poppy. And for the poppy, I will be planting this to a depth of 1.5 millimeter. And this is very important because if it's a fine seed and you plant it too deep, then it may take too long to germinate, or that may just kill the seed. So it's very important, I find, to plant these plants at the right depth. And as you can see, the poppy are pretty fine. So I'm just going to use my pencil, make a little dent there of about 1/8 of a millimeter. Let me just check the depth again. Okay, actually 1.5 millimeter. So just barely. And I'm going to sprinkle a few seeds, and I can always thin them later. Planting a few seeds, at least 1 or 2 may germinate. Okay. And I do not want to plant it too thick because I don't want to do too much of a thinning. So that's number one down. That's my poppy. And since I'm doing this just 1.5 millimeter of a depth, I'm just gonna just barely cover this. Actually, what I may do, I may just sprinkle a little of my seed starting mix over this. So go on, I'll just put a little bit of seed starting mix over the poppy. Okay, so that's it for the poppy. I will now go on to the frescue grass. And for the frescue grass, I just do me 3 plants, as I have some already in my garden. So I just need about 3 more plants. And the frescue grass, this one is fairly thin. The seeds are fine. So I'm gonna plant this to a depth of 0.6 centimeter. So that's pretty much just sprinkling this on top. So this one, you can see they're fine, but I'll be able to pick up a few. So I'm gonna do about 3 seeds per slot. Three, and another one, 1, 2, okay. All right, and again, I'm just going to put this down just a little bit, not too much, just to make sure that the seeds make contact with the soil. And for this also, I'm just gonna put in a little bit of seed starting mix. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little on top. That should be good. So that's 3 frescue grass. And I will now go on to the Dianthus. And this is the Arctic Fire. And for the Dianthus, I'm planting this to a depth of barely cover. Yes. This one I'll barely cover. I planted this one last year. Didn't do too well. I got me a few plants. I don't know, maybe I planted them too deep. And you can see why this one would ask you to just plant it thinly or to barely cover, because the seeds are pretty fine. Let me just get these. Oh, wow. There's actually hardly any seeds in this one. Yeah, hardly any seeds. Cannot afford to lose anything. So for this one, yeah, that's to see they're pretty tiny. So I may just have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think this one is a ripoff, because this one is just about 6 seeds. I like to do at least 2 seeds per pocket, but okay, actually, let me see. I may have a few more seeds stuck somewhere here. See if I can get rid of them. They're pretty tiny. Okay, I got me a few more. Good. So I will be able to at least get me 2 seeds in each section. And actually, I might as well just do the whole package. I have to thin, I'd rather do that. So this one, as it says, you can see the seeds are really tiny, and as it says, barely covered. So with that, I'm just gonna go again, and I'm gonna sprinkle just a little bit of seed starting mix, just so the seed can make contact with the soil. Okay, so that should be it. That should be good. And now I am on to my Shastia daisy. And as I said, I have made some plants of the Shastia daisy in my garden. Love it. About 4 plants, 2 in my back garden, 2 in my front. So I'm going to plant me just about 2 more Shastia daisy plants. So that's it. And this is my package from last year. And I will be planting the Shastia daisy to a depth of 3 millimeter or 1/8 of an inch. Just 2 Shastia daisies, way too many seeds. All right, so I put 3 seeds in each section. So I'm gonna just use my pencil and I'm gonna just push that to the soil just to make contact with the soil. And not too deep again, 0.8 of a millimeter or 1/8 of a millimeter deep. Okay, so that's that. And I'm doing just 2 Shastia daisy. All right, and now I'm on to my blanket flower. Another perennial, like this one very much. Never seem to have any luck with this one, so I'm planting my own from seeds this year. And the depth for this one is 3 millimeter, also 1/8 of an inch. Okay. These are bigger seeds, so I thought I would have planted them deeper, but I'll go as the package says. And again, 3 seeds to each slot. And I'll be planting one whole tree, one whole section of the blanket flowers. I really like this flower. I find it blooms for most of the season, and that's what I love about it. So maybe 1, 2, 3 seeds. Can always thin them later. And again, I'll just use my pencil to take it down to my 1/8 of a millimeter. Make sure it's covered. Okay. Yeah, so that's it for the blanket flower. All right, and my final one and my very favorite is the Hollyhock. And for the Hollyhock, I'm doing this one to a depth of also 3 millimeter, 1/8 of an inch. And again, 3 seeds to a packet, a section. All right, and I'll go ahead and have them make contact with the soil. That's one, I see two, and we have missed one, so I'll just put another one. Can always thin it later. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. We'll see only 2 for that one, so let me just get another one. Oh, actually, yeah, this is the one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. So that's it. And I think for these, I'm just gonna brush a little bit of seed starting mix over these, just a little bit, not too much. Just to make sure that you're making contact with the soil. Yeah, so that's it with me starting my first set of seed starting for the 2024 garden season. And these were my perennials, hardy perennials. Um, for these, I will be taking them to the warmest section of my house, and that's in my furnace room. It's January, the heart of winter in my zone 5. So my furnace is constantly running. So I think that's the ideal place to put these seeds for the next 7 or 14 days. So while they're there in the dark, germinating in the furnace room, I will need to check on them every couple of days. Because as soon as these seeds have germinated, I need to take them out and expose them to light. So luckily for me, I have a south facing window. So once they germinate or start to germinate, I will take them out and I will put them by my south facing window, and I will be supplementing the light with grow lights. All right, and making sure they have a temperature of roughly 65 Fahrenheit for them to grow and strive. Yeah, so that's it for me doing my first set of perennials. And in this video, I will give you a quick update on how my perennial seedlings are going. So this video was shot on the 12th of January. Today is the 23rd. I'm about to post this video later today. So I checked on my seedlings and I was quite impressed. So I'll give you a quick update on the seedlings. For the Hollyhock, the very first one, the germination rate turns out pretty well. I planted 3 seeds. For each slot, I've gotten me a plant, for some at least 2, and they're still germinating. Then move on to this one, and that's the blanket flower. That one did very well. As you can see, this one here did very well, pretty much 3 seeds in each slot. For the Shastia daisy, haven't seen much. I did just 2 of the Shastia daisy, and this one would be the Shastia daisy. So I've gotten me only one little one here sprouting. So this is to show that they're still sprouted. Maybe that's just taking a little longer. And over here is the Dianthus. So that's this one here. The germination rate is 1 in each so far. There are about 3 in this section, 1 here, another 3 there, and you can see that they're still germinating. A little one there just coming through. And this one was the frescue grass for that one, also germinating. I think this one from here got over there. And this is the cleome on the other side. I had 2 frescue grass, 3 cleome. Well, I haven't seen anything yet on the cleome, so I'll wait and see. And for the poppy did really well, like 100% rate germination. So that's the poppy. For everything, you can see 3 or more seedlings going there. I did these seedlings on the 12th when I did the video, and a day prior I had done my peppers, my habanero pepper and my sweet pepper, and some eggplants, and those are also doing very well. You can see 3 in each slot, as I tend to plant 3 seeds per sections. Another 3, this just 1, maybe 2 still waiting to germinate. More peppers over here, and watermelon. It's watermelon, and there. So after 7, 8 days, this is what I've accomplished so far. So that's quite impressive. So I will now take them and put them to my south facing window and do supplement them with grow light, as I've said in the video. So this is a quick update. I know doing seed starting indoor, it can feel a bit overwhelming, especially if you're a new gardener. This is my 4th year seed starting, and I must tell you, it's a learning process, but I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. So if this is something you want to do, go ahead and don't be afraid. It's a trial and error, and you learn and you get better each year. So in starting your seeds indoors, some of the things you're going to take into consideration is you first need to know your last frost date. I'm not too obsessed with zones, because zones change from time to time. Sometime I may be in a zone 5, another year I may be in a zone 6. So I don't focus too much on zone, but my last frost date is very important when deciding when to start my seeds. So my last frost date is May the 20th. And if my seeds take a good 10 to 12 weeks, like my perennials normally do, to germinate and to get fully established, and I need to start those seeds counting from my last frost date backwards to 12 weeks. And that will give me an idea of when to start my seeds. All right. And there are different requirements for different seeds. For perennials, it may take 10 to 12 weeks to germinate and establish. For annuals like zinnias, those in no time, 7 days, they're fully germinated, and in say 8 weeks, you can have them out in the garden, 6 to 8 weeks. So it's the different requirements for different plants, as in perennials, cold tolerant or hardy annuals, and then you have your delicate annuals which are not tolerable to frost. All right, so hope this video helped you and it will motivate you to get your seed started going. And as I've said, if you've never done it before, go for it. It's a learning process. All right, and trust me, you will get better every year. Another interesting thing, I want to try winter sowing this year. I've never done it before. So that's what I'll be doing next. So that's a video to look forward to. I've done a bit of research and I think I'm ready to go on in and give it a try. All right. So thanks for your time. And as usual, you have yourself a great day. And if you do like this video, do not hesitate to go ahead and hit the subscription button and also the notification bell so you will know when I update my next video. And I would greatly appreciate your support. Thanks again. Have a great day now. Bye bye.